Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Chris here, and in today's video we're going to be diving in a bit deeper into the push, making some beats. Let's go. So this is the second video of us checking out the push. If you haven't seen the previous one, you can check it up here. We basically did a very rough kind of overview of the whole thing, getting started and creating beats with it. So today I figured, same thing, we're going to make some beats, but we'll dive a bit deeper, really get hands-on with the push. I've got this camera above me. Hopefully it's doing all right at capturing this. So basically here you've kind of got your general how Ableton opens. I've got it capturing on the screen here so you can see what I'm doing, but all I have is a MIDI track and an audio track and some reverb and delay, nothing crazy. So what I want to do is I'm gonna create a new track. I'm gonna go into my collections, favorite instruments, and select out the classic, which is Labs. There it is. But instead of using the keyboard, which I've got down here, I'm just going to use this because, you know, having some limitations, especially in the sense that this is pretty different from looking at a keyboard, might allow you to come up with some new things. So I'm going to use that, and I'm also going to use the repeats. You get the idea. So we'll try something like that. I might get on 16ths. Actually, what tempo are we at? We're at 90, we're at 100. So if I bump this up to like 150, maybe. Okay, put that down to 8. Okay, so I think that could work as a little idea. Let's put that down. I'm just going to do a fixed length, 8 bars. Yeah, that sounds about right at this tempo. So let's go. Nice, we got that in. Let's add a bass maybe. Let's go favorite instruments, operator. Let's add maybe like a pad or something on there. Let's see what we've got. Instruments, maybe something like UAD Polymax. Let's find the patch real quickly if I grab this. Make it a bit tighter. Sweet, let's add a quick auto filter to that. Maybe a bit of LFO in that filter. Alright, I'm just going to pause it there because I actually had an idea of something I came across recently on the Ableton Instagram actually, which was if I add a device and I add a LFO, which is here, LFO, I can then map this LFO to control something else, which you won't actually be able to see on the push. So if I get it up here on the screen, you can see this LFO moving. And I actually just want to do what I was doing, which is kind of turn up and down this LFO amount using this LFO. So if I map this to here, you'll see it's now going to change that so you can hear what it sounds like. It's turning on this LFO using this LFO. But I just want to slow that down and make it a bit more controlled. So let's see if we sync this. 1 bar. Still too fast, maybe 2 bars. Nice, and I'm just gonna change that amount that it's opening and closing. So we can keep it on 0, but I don't want it to open all the way. Maybe slow down 1 more. Nice. So now we'll slowly start to kind of flutter. Alright, we got this. Sick. Maybe change the phase. Okay, fantastic. So we've just added a couple of layers there, nothing too crazy. Maybe I'll add some drums and then we can kind of go in and tweak some stuff. But let me add a drum track real quick. In my collection, I've just got one of my kits that I've built, which will save me a little bit of time. CV Jam kit, we'll expand that. Nice. So we've got that. Let's add some claps actually, that'd be kind of nice. Quantize that. Sick. That's sounding pretty clean. I'm happy with that so far. A nice kind of chilled vibe. I do want to maybe play with the tempo a bit, slow it down, and I would like to change the pitch, so I might just experiment by chucking a plugin on the master. So let's do that right now. Actually, if I go into my master section here and I can add device in my favorite plugins, I got my Waves sound shifter. Let's see if I can find that. SSSS. Here we go. Sound shifter. So if I do a combination of this and changing the speed, let's hear what we get out of this. Nice, so we got our little beat there. I'm just gonna quickly kind of finish this with one last thing that I like to do, which is resample the whole song. So if I go into my audio track and I can go on mix and then press mix again, it allows me to select my input and output channel. So I can go on here, you can actually see me speaking on channel number 1, but what I want to do is I actually want to resample. So I'll set that to resampling. The monitoring I can leave off, that's all good. This track pan and all that stuff is fine. So now what I'm gonna do is I will actually if I swap the screen over, so you can see it's actually, I can get rid of these. It's been recording some takes. So what I'll do now is in this audio track, I can literally just press record and it should record this beat. Let's see. Alright, that's probably enough. Let's just trim off the fat. Don't need that. And it's nice to actually print it kind of the loop for us, but then this is our flat print that we'll be working with. For the meantime, I'm actually just gonna delete the sound shifter because that is loads of CPU and I don't need that slowing me down. So if we just solo the track, we've got this, the beat obviously, but this is where I kind of want to make it a bit more creative. So we've obviously got the solo. If I press convert up here, we can convert this audio to simpler, drum pad, harmony MIDI, melody MIDI, or drums MIDI. I'm going to put it on simpler. So it should create a separate track for us here underneath, just a MIDI track. And obviously, if I go into my device, you've got the sample. I don't know why all of this stays popping up, but so you got your sample. Probably crank it up a bit. And actually, if I get this accent on, there we go. So let's crank it, get a bit more volume in there. We got all of those beautiful warping sounds. So what I want to do is I would like to split this up. So if I go, actually, let's keep this warped. Nice, so we can change the pitch and the speed stays the same, which is great. To help with that, I'm also going to turn on this warp mode onto Pro. Interesting, so we've got some options. But what I want to do from here is I actually want to slice this up. So if I go into my loop and I change classic to slicing. Nice, so we've got this whole, whatever, we can slice up the whole thing. Personally, I really like to slice it up to beats. So we've got that going. Obviously you can change the pitch, you can be a bit creative with it. So if I go into global, what I want to do is maybe try to create something a bit different sounding from the original beat. So, you know, kind of keep that inspiration going. Let's see how many ideas we can pull out of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pitch it back up. I actually quite like this just loop on its own. And so what I can do from here is I can go into my layout. And so this, we've kind of got our sequencer. So got a couple of the pads here. These kind of 16 pads are the length of our loop. So if I want it to be a bar, it's just that. 2 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars. And that's great because you can see it cycles through. Depending which ones are highlighted is what you're kind of seeing in here. So if I change the division, you'll see, you know, it's now selecting 4 and 4. Or if I slow it down even more, this is going to be the whole loop. So you can kind of depict how much you're working with. So in this case, I know if this is my tempo, this is quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, right? So I want every note to be a quarter note. So I just go through and I just place my samples. So we should have, right, and then repeat. Actually, let's make it 2. So technically nothing's playing, but I could put in this secondary loop. I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to have half and half, just how I was playing it. So let me quickly put that in. So now we have this. Sick. And if I go through, I actually want to quickly try change this Pro warp mode to beats and see what I can get out of it. That's kind of interesting. Sweet, and now I'm just gonna add a drum break underneath it and see what it sounds like. But to do that, I'm gonna have to drag it in. Ah, no, unbelievable. You spend all this time using the push and then you have to drag in a drum loop. Crazy, the world we live in. Let's see what we've got. Ooh. So can I quantize this audio? 16ths. Let's go. I kind of just want to do one last thing whilst we've got this. I'll just set this up on a quick loop. So I've got that. And I just want to automate something on this sample because I'm really liking it, but I just kind of want it to change somehow. So if I add device, we can find, oh, drum bass actually quite fun, or erosion. Let's see. So I'd just like to quickly automate this erosion thing I've got going on. So as you can see there on the automation, it's popping up. So I've got that one. If I press automate on here, Bosch, and then record, can do some automation. Just need to remember that when you're doing this, you got to have the MIDI arrangement overdub so that it doesn't take out your notes whilst you're putting in your automation. Go. See the automation on the screen. You can see it kicking off here. I just add the drum bus to that break. Sample, but it sounds great either way. Let's go into the break, do the same thing. Oh, there we go. Dry back a bit. About 50%. Now stick a limiter on the master as well, so I've got some help with that clipping. Let's go. It's almost got cold since I started. Alright, but there you go. That is the video for today. I hope you got something out of this. I'm a big fan of the push, and I do really enjoy creating music with it, because sometimes getting yourself out of that headspace of like the click, you know, MIDI creation, music creation, is just sometimes gets a bit lackluster. So it's always good to have a new kind of box you can pull out to kind of re-inspire you a bit and get you thinking outside of it. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave us a comment and subscribe and all that stuff. I really appreciate the feedback, so let me know and I'll happily get back to your comments about that. If you enjoyed this, there's also plenty of different tutorials on here where we talk about mix techniques, and there's a couple of live streams and stuff, so feel free to check out the playlists for those. Once again, I've been Vella, and I'll see you on the next one. See you.